What's good, everybody? It's Robo back with another video. College football season's almost here, and I've got a ton of content planned this year. Conference previews, top 25s, player rankings, and most importantly, weekly picks will be back on the channel all season. This video is part 1 of 4 of me ranking my personal top 100 players in college football entering the season. So as there are 4 parts, this will be numbers 100 through 76. There's a ton of great players in college football, but I can only rank 100 of them. So let's go ahead and get started with the list. Nick Emmanwori is one of the hardest hitting safeties in the country. He started as a freshman at South Carolina and has been a tackle machine in the secondary the past 2 seasons, establishing himself as one of the SEC's best.
He's hit hard. 13. Larry in the pocket, throwing right side corner route. Did the Gamecocks. He's battling with Tyler Brown.
Still battling too.
And Emmanwori comes up.
Ariante Ursery put on a blocking clinic on tape last year, leading Minnesota to be one of the better rushing teams in the Big Ten. He's seen as a potential first-round pick this season, and with his size advantage, a first-team All-Big Ten selection could be on the way as well this season.
Backs are in motion. Here's Zach Evans, the reigning Big Ten. Issues here as Minnesota set up for a second and long 10. Williams on the handoff.
Leading that game.
Nick Martin is nicknamed the Missile for a reason. His explosiveness in pursuit is ridiculous. He's super versatile, but put up 6 sacks last year, showing his freak ability as a pass rusher. And I think he's in for an even stronger season this year, which make Oklahoma State's defense one of the best in the Big 12.
Gordon. Bearcats are on the move. Jones. Cats have to find a way to get it to number 8 more often.
Smith takes a snap. Plenty of time this time, but nowhere to go with the ball.
Kevin Winston Jr. broke out last season after having a really strong season on tape. He's one of the best tackling safeties in the country and is extremely good as a run support guy, but has grown a lot in coverage as well. And with his size and speed, he can do just about anything for Penn State's defense this year.
Hemby.
McNamara down the middle.
He's gotten calmer, under control. He felt the pressure there. Oh, what?
Dorian Strong graded out as one of the best corners in the ACC last year and statistically put up 3 picks and 8 pass deflections. He's got great ball skills and is producing coverage all 3+ seasons he's played so far at Virginia Tech. Now entering his 5th year, he should be one of the best corners in America.
Play action. Takes a shot over the middle, and it is picked off right away.
It's just a miss by Wilson. Kind of has some people in front of him. Ball sails on him.
BJ Green is an under-the-radar guy who I think was a big portal addition for Colorado this offseason, flipping him from Washington. At Arizona State last season, he put up 6 sacks and 12 tackles for loss. He's an undersized guy, honestly, but is so technically sound, he can win one-on-one against just about any tackle in the country.
Seen any turnovers. Sanders, pressure, brought down.
Quincy Riley graded out as the best returning corner in the ACC last season and is an absolute ball hawk, putting up 6 picks in the last 2 seasons at Louisville as well as 12 pass deflections alone last season. He transferred into Louisville after playing 3 seasons at Middle Tennessee State, where he was one of the top 5 interception leaders in the country as well.
To the outside, that ball is intercepted. And they'll throw it to the corner. Picked up. Riley cuts it back.
Jaden Roberts is one of the best interior linemen in the country and plays on arguably the best interior line unit in the nation in Alabama. At 6'5", 315, he's got a massive size advantage on the inside. Last season was his breakout year, earning a starting job and helping turn that Alabama O-line unit on its head after a slow start, and should carry that growth into a big 2024.
Roydell Williams in the backfield. Milroe keeps it. Milroe is
Maxwell Harrison is one of the best ball hawks in the country, finishing last season with 5 picks and 2 pick sixes as a sophomore. He didn't play much at all his freshman year, but the jump he made in just 1 season has a ton of eyes on him for another huge year that could put him in first-round draft pick consideration.
It turns out a healthy Brady Cook is the answer, and he's picked off.
Create mismatches in the pass rush. They've struggled on 3rd down, though.
For Kentucky into traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Maxwell Hairston.
Princely Umanmielen is one of the most naturally gifted players in the country and could end up a high draft pick off potential alone. He's produced at a high level at times, but has had some poor effort and work ethic issues on the field that has hampered his play and impact. If this season he finally puts it all together, Ole Miss is going to have an incredible pass rushing unit.
Sacks allowed this season, and Prince Umanmielen
Pre-snap. Didn't matter. Umanmielen wins right.
Jaden Ott had a massive breakout sophomore season, tallying over 1,300 yards on the ground and 14 total touchdowns, establishing himself as one of the 10 or so best running backs in the country, and a guy who Cal's going to lean on heavily this season as they transition to the ACC. He has decent size and is incredibly explosive as a ball carrier and is definitely deserving of this top 100 spot.
Here's Ott again, and a nice cutback. Makes a defender miss and is into the end.
JT Tuimoloau has been highly touted since his high school days and has tormented Penn State in his career, but hasn't found much production outside of that relative to expectations. He had his best year last year as a junior, putting up 5 sacks and 2 additional tackles for loss, and should be shaping up for a really strong senior season this year.
Underneath and another 7 to the 28. Play fake, Clifford in trouble.
Hunter Wohler is one of the most underrated players in the sport, in my opinion. He's a great coverage safety and a huge hitter and run support for Wisconsin, the true leader of that defense and one of the best open field tacklers in the entire country. And at 6'2", 210, he has a size and game to play at the next level without a doubt.
So far,
Yeah, that went for 15 yards, but this one is on the money. Badgers up 7, but Georgia Southern looking to tie it.
Peter Woods was a true freshman last year, but in somewhat limited playing time made a huge impression, starting off as a defensive tackle. It looks like the plan is for him to play more defensive end this year. Clemson's defensive line is absolutely loaded, but it starts with him and his talent level. There aren't many people in the country who he won't consistently beat one-on-one on the line. Ricardo Hallman's another super underrated defender in my opinion, ridiculously technically sound at a corner and has locked up some legitimate NFL talent. He put up an absurd 7 interceptions last season, tied for the national lead. He was only a redshirt sophomore last season, so expectations are really high in Madison for how strong this defense could be, led by Wohler and Hallman in that secondary.
has time, and that one is intercepted. Ricardo Hallman, and there we go. Play fake. Pavia is going to take a shot here. Some hand fighting.
Malachi Moore is going to be one of the main leaders of the Alabama defensive unit this season. He's an elite tackler and run defender and an absolute missile when asked to rush the quarterback. Alabama has completely revamped secondary around him, so he's going to have to take on a pretty big workload alongside Michigan transfer Keon Sabb. But if the corners perform to their talent level, that secondary can be one of the best in the country.
Again, a low snap, and he's going to throw for it, and it's broken up. And this time, Bowers trips to the bottom. Here comes the pressure. Darts hit as he...
Former Miami transfer Elijah Roberts broke out last season at SMU, putting up double-digit sacks and 13 tackles for loss, and forcing 2 fumbles as well. He played sparingly in his 3 years at Miami, but always had the size and talent to put up a season like that. Another year of 10-plus sacks should be the expectation, and NFL scouts will be definitely paying attention this season.
Down, SMU brings the blitz.
Riley Leonard was a talk of college football early last season as he took down Clemson week 1, but after a 4-0 start, he went down with an injury at Notre Dame that derailed the season. And after Mike Elko decided to leave, Riley hit the portal and became Notre Dame's quarterback for this season. This team has a lot of talent around him, and he could put himself back on the map as one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the country with a big year.
40 and Leonard's loose. Their last 34. Leonard throwing for Jordan Moore, and it's caught.
Ajani Cornelius is likely going to be the leader of the Oregon offensive line this year. The unit as a whole is pretty loaded across the board, but Cornelius came over from Rhode Island last year and started all 14 games at right tackle and took home all Pac-12 honorable mention honors. And this year, he has a real shot to be a first-round pick.
Off the play fake. Challenge on 3rd and 13. Here comes the pressure. Nick spins free.
Damian Martinez was one of the best sophomore running backs in the country last season at Oregon State, putting up almost 1,000 yards as a true freshman and 1,200 on the ground last year. And he landed at Miami after entering the portal and should be the clear lead back there as well. Expectations are going to be pretty high for Miami, but they should be better than previous years now with Cam Ward and Martinez in that backfield.
Spins inside, first down.
And the Clemson transfer hands it off. There goes Damian Martinez.
Jalen Daniels has had a lot of poor injury luck and extended time missing his career, but when he's healthy, he's a super dynamic quarterback. He's been a big part of the rise of this Kansas football program and was looking really sharp again last season before re-aggravating another injury. If he can stay healthy this season, he and Kansas have a real shot to push for a Big 12 title.
Daniels to the end zone. They send him in motion. Daniels, enough time into the end zone. Got a man. Touchdown.
Mitchell Evans is the second best tight end in America in my opinion, but there could definitely be a debate. However, what separates him from me is how good of a blocker he can be on the top of receiving ability. He had 400 yards in 8 games last year, but made some really highlight reel grabs and really stood out to me in run blocking, and will likely have a lot of NFL interest after the season as he may be Riley Leonard's top target.
Steps up.
Oh, my gosh. Inline blocking tight end, but look at this catch. To throw. Wide open is Evans. No one covered it.
Zachariah Branch was one of the most electric freshmen in the country last year, if not the most electric player, period. His returning ability is freakish, and with his game-breaking speed and ability as a ball carrier, he's still growing as an all-around receiver, and USC had a lot of targets last year, but this should be a big year for him in that USC offense, and expectations are going to be really high for what he can do this year.
Look at that throw. What a throw.
Rod Moore is going to miss around half or maybe the majority of this season with an ACL injury, but he still deserves to be on this list to me. He's one of the best safeties in the country, and if he's able to return this year, he could have a huge impact on an elite Michigan defense, helping them and Sherrone Moore continue building on the momentum that Jim Harbaugh left them with.
Intercepted! Jackson, and that one deflected and intercepted. Michigan has it.
Jason Henderson was the leading tackler in all of college football last season, putting up an absurd 170 tackles in 12 games for Old Dominion. And on top of that, he added 4.5 sacks and 19.5 tackles for loss. Just a dominant force at the linebacker position who probably could have transferred to several different elite defenses, but chose to stay at ODU for his senior season, where he'll probably be among the national leaders in tackles again.
A couple of years ago.
That's it for the first part of my top 100 players in college football series. Let me know down in the comments who you're most excited to see break out for your team this year, and if you think any guys are underrated or overrated, feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.